Hey, welcome to another edition of the Gentleman Grachowski Show. I'm the host, Larry. Alongside with me is Alex Joyce. He's the host of the Tuesday night open mic here at Harrigan's on 2816 North Halsted, and that's a Pint of Laughs. Welcome back to the show.
Larry, thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it's a good time. We haven't seen each other in a while. Everyone, kind of dipped away for a while, but I'm back on location, back in the spotlight, so to speak, and I'm glad you're coming back with me.
Very happy that you're here, and Harrigan's is very happy that you're here.
That sounds good. So listen, tell me a little bit about doing stand-up here on Tuesdays. What do people need to know about it?
It's called the Pint of Laughs Open Mic. It's every Tuesday at 8:30. Comics sign up at 8 o'clock. Comics get 4 minutes of stage time. At any given night, we might have 15 to 25 comics go up. Some of them are brand new to it. Some of it have been doing for many years. It's a great time. We got the best bartender in Chicago here from Ireland, Mr. Tony Staunton, and
there you go. Now listen, tell us about people that want to do stand-up, but maybe they're a little frightened about it.
it is a scary thing, but because this is a dark, Irish, intimate pub, it's more welcoming, I think, than other places. I think a lot of people, when they're thinking about their first time doing stand-up, it's going to be in front of 200 people, and it's going to be, like, scary. This is, sometimes there's only like 8 people in the room, and it's not scary. So give it a shot. This makes it accessible.
Okay, when you first started doing comedy, what was some advice maybe somebody gave to you?
They said focus on what you're doing instead of focusing on how you think you look or how you think you sound or how you think you're doing. Just focus on the doing of it, and that helps a lot.
And how do you remember the order of your jokes?
Sometimes I don't, but the audience is none the wiser, so that's okay.
So you're saying that only you know what your routine was supposed to be. The people watching don't know. So if you make a mistake, they don't know.
Right. If I screw up the order, the only other people who know that I've screwed up are the other comedians, and they will delight in your screw-ups, so everybody's happy.
So they'll enjoy it more, huh?
They will, yes.
So how often do you practice new material, or do you just keep doing material till you get it right? How does that work with a comedian?
It can be both. You could be working on the same joke for many weeks, many months, or you could be trying out new material at the same time. I usually have like 2 things that work usually, and then try 2 things that are brand new, and then close with something that's hopefully going to work.
Now, if I come here every week, I'm going to know your routine. I come here once, I'm not going to know anything about it, right?
Right. Right.
Now, how you're trying to be topical, but then again, topical doesn't last long. It only lasts for like a couple days, right?
Some comics are good enough to be topical. I'm not one of them, but I'm a fan of what they do.
Because I'm thinking you're going to talk about certain, like I said, the weather or a rainstorm. That only works for a couple days. After that, you can't talk about the rainstorm because it's not raining anymore, right?
That's right. Thunderstorms come and go, but maybe a joke can come of something that you can hold on to it.
Have you ever reused a joke?
Reused it?
Yeah, like re-gifting, so to speak.
Oh, well, I might have a joke about something, but then that passes away. Current events pass away, but then a dynamic that's similar, and then like a retrofit the joke.
Yeah,
is that what I was gonna say?
Can you the punchline is like you said Donald Trump's, but then you use a different politician. Or you use someone else as the punchline. Could you do that?
You could. I don't because I'm not that good of a writer, but it could be done, sure.
Okay.
I know guys who've done that, sure.
Now, one of the stuff you like to talk about is your relatives. Tell us a little bit about your relatives.
The thing about Chicago in the summertime is that it's the best time to be here. So I have relatives from all over the country, all over the world who come to visit, and it seems like every weekend there's people here. Right now I've got family here from Ireland, Dermot, my cousin, and Deidre, his wife, and their 2 kids. Their 2 kids are 15-year-old boys.
Okay.
They're twins, Larry, identical twins.
Can you tell them apart?
No. So that's one thing.
Did you ever think if you're having a couple drinks, you see them in double? Does
that
get you nervous sometimes?
I see them seeing in quadruple. Yeah. So they're here, and Dermot and Deidre are just. I've been taking them to do lots of touristy.
You call them, right?
D&D.
There you go.
Lots of touristy things. The Bean, Millennium Park, Michigan Avenue. and they're already talking about moving here. They absolutely love it. But the two boys, the 15-year-olds, are a nightmare. They're like doing like Irish parkour on State Street, jumping off buildings, and one of them hit a police horse. They're like yelling. I got family in town. That's a good thing and a bad thing. I have a cousin from Ireland and his wife Deirdre, who are here with their two kids. They're from Galway, and they're here just tearing up the town. I took them to do a bunch of touristy things, you know, the Bean and Michigan Avenue and Navy Pier, without shame. And his name is Dermot. Dermot and Deirdre love it here. But they've got two kids, two boys who are twin boys, 15 years old, and they're complete nightmares. They were yelling at people in Gaelic on State Street. They were doing some kind of weird Irish parkour, jumping off the sides of buildings, just acting like psychos. So I pulled my cousin Dermot aside and I said, "Hey, Derm, what would you say is wrong with your kids?" And he thought about it for a second. And he was like, "Well, you know, I cut him a bit of slack because this is their first time in the States, and this is their first time in a huge city, and they've been drinking all morning, so what are you going to do?" You know,
15 years old.
So that's family. What are you going to do?
Now, when you take them out and they get all ruly in the streets, what do you want to do? How do you handle that?
I thought that by telling their father that they should quit it, that would help, but really didn't. So
They just accepted it and said that they're just drinking.
they're here right now, and they're not here. You're welcome,
Right.
but they're out there in the city right now, and
They're just creating havoc.
yeah, it's like they're a hurricane of just Irish insanity. Yeah.
Now, you said you got family from all over the world.
Yeah.
Where does the Joyce family originated from?
From County Mayo, Ireland.
Okay, so, and then you just kind of got on boats and just sprout all over the area?
Apparently, that's what we did. Our family were fishermen in Galway, and then they came to Chicago, lived in back of the yards. They were roofers there.
Okay.
And now we're all over.
No, back of the yards. They could be butchers too, right?
I don't know. I think they're just roofers, and one of them used to box on street corners for money.
Okay.
You know, I got none of the fighting or none of the toughness from them. I just wear silly hats and do comedy at Harrigan's. My uncle the other day, he's a homicide detective here in Chicago. I hadn't seen him in a long time, and so I was excited to see him. I was on Rush Street, and I just went up to him and I hugged him. And he broke free of me, and he just looking at me. He's staring at me. He looks at my eyes. He's a detective. He's scanning me. He's looking at my eyes, looks at my hands, looks at my shoes. And he looks back at me, he's just like, "You got wasted last night, huh?" And I said, yeah, way to crack the case. Yeah, what's the deal? Can you smell it on me? And he goes, no, I was with you last night. You got a drinking problem.
So do you have to have an attitude to be a comedian?
You have to have an attitude. It's a combination of I don't care what people think, but at the same time, it's like I want everyone to like me.
Okay.
Those two things seem contradictory. If it's both in you, you could be a comedian.
And what if people don't like you? How do you handle that? Is that rejection? What is that?
You just got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Just got to keep moving.
What if you're sitting there and you're having you do your set, you feel great, and then you sit down and you start talking to someone in the audience, and they're like, they want to debate you over something silly.
Yeah.
Like they start pointing at you or something. How do you handle that?
I don't engage in that kind of thing. I don't. There were political comedians. I'm not that kind of comic.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you also enjoy a drink now and then, right?
Here and there.
Being Irish, you have to, right?
It's baked in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like something in the chromosome somewhere in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thirsty chromosomes, Leary.
What? Tell us a little bit about Tell us about your drinking, so to speak.
Well, my psychiatrist says that I need to limit myself to 2 drinks per occasion, which I've done. I've been able to do. It hasn't been that bad. I am up to 9 occasions per day.
Well, I was going to say, every time you meet someone new, that could be a new occasion.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the problem. There's too many occasions. I don't blame the drinks. I blame the occasions.
It was funny. You look at his little date book here. It'll say, on certain date, it'll say, I met so-and-so. Another I met so and so. I met so. You got 20 people down there.
Yes.
And each one's an occasion.
Yes.
And you gotta
Yes.
celebrate the occasion.
You don't want to be rude.
No, you don't. And then how do you handle drinking and doing open mic?
I usually have a couple beforehand,
Okay.
and then 2 or 3 during, and I don't know how many after, but
The nightcap then.
nightcaps.
You gotta enjoy yourself.
Nightcaps.
And again, it's you're Irish. You have to. If you're not drinking, people thinking something's wrong with you, right?
Well, there's many things wrong with me, but I'm a thirsty man, and that's just continuing.
What else is wrong with you?
I have to talk to my psychiatrist. I'll even send you my chart.
Yeah, you can bring him by one day.
That's a whole other show.
I'm sure we'd like to have a conversation with him, like an intervention maybe. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of kind of like an intervention, tell us about the Blackout Diaries.
The Blackout Diaries show is every Friday at the Lincoln Lodge Theater at 10 o'clock. It's where comedians tell true drinking stories, crazy mayhem stories, and then the audience gets to ask questions. And then there's multimedia, so there's big screens in the room where it's kind of like a drunken TED Talk. The comedian flips through different pictures and videos to help illustrate the stories. Audience asks questions, and we try to have every show one non-comedian, so it could be a DJ or a teacher or a nurse. We find that teachers and nurses are the best drinking story sources.
Now, has anyone ever came in with a drinking story that involved like animals or a horse or something?
Not yet.
No. There's always hope, though, right?
If you have somebody in mind, then maybe. But
I'm thinking maybe this is the wrong area for a story like that. Maybe down south or somewhere like that. There might be, maybe in the hundreds or something. There'd be animal stories or something.
Are these animals drunk?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, you would let an animal come on stage and talk about a blackout, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
We don't have a lot of rules at the show.
And then how do you have you ever like wanted to report somebody that told the story up on stage?
Like because they said something illegal?
I mean, anything, or they blacked out, or something could have happened. I'm sure,
No, it's a sacrosanct thing. This is like a confession. There's this is a safe place to confess your partying sins.
I gotcha. Now, when you you got the Blackout Diaries and you got the Pint of Laughs here. What else do you do in your spare time?
I sell products that repair concrete.
Okay.
And I sell a product that binds loose stone together. So construction products. I'm
very
in the
good.
construction industry.
Have you ever taken your work home with you?
I work out of my apartment, so that's.
So you got a bunch of like concrete and all over the place.
I've got samples all over the place
just
of
a
my
bunch of-
apartment. Yeah.
People come over and they think they want some oatmeal or something, and just better be careful. It's not oatmeal; it's concrete.
I love having people over for like parties, and if they could like leave, and I've already quoted them something, and they could buy something, that'd be great.
So some people have like Tupperware parties, or they have other parties where they come by sell candles. You invite people by to sell concrete to them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's pretty heavy.
Yes.
Okay. Literally.
Literally.
And what if they don't buy it? Do you get excited? Do you get mad? What do you do?
No, just got to follow up, and eventually they're going to need something. You know.
And something else you talk about in your routine is being high.
Yes. Now, Larry, I drink a bit, but I usually do not get high.
Okay, that's a good thing.
But the other day, I got really, really high, and I was watching Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
That's the best one.
You're familiar with Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back?
Quite often I see. That's one of my favorites. I always check and see if it's on TNT every weekend, which usually it is, once or twice a month.
I think it's the best one. Yeah.
Yes, Empire Strikes Back.
I don't usually get high, but when I do, I get really high. And I was watching The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, and I happened to land on that iconic scene when Darth Vader says to Luke Skywalker, "Luke, I am your father." And I was so high, I said to myself, it's a good thing Darth Vader didn't have a Chicago accent, because that wouldn't be as compelling if he had a Chicago accent. Because that would sound like a, "Luke, I'm your dad." That's not as compelling.
Don't you wish that the Empire Strikes Back could have ended at the beginning of Return of the Jedi? And at least you get the Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, and the swimsuit or whatever that's called.
I haven't wished that before.
Because I hate watching that third movie. Because after that, after they find Han Solo and he can see, and they zoom out of the desert, I turn it off because I don't really care much for those furry little Ewoks.
They're creepy little guys, huh?
They are, and they don't make. What if they came to your Blackout Diaries? What would you do?
I mean, everybody's welcome, but I don't know about Ewoks. I don't know.
You draw your line there.
Well, that might be.
You could have a horse. Someone could bring a horse in there, but not an Ewok.
Yeah.
Okay, well
that's Irish rules.
And you would probably think it's a leprechaun, right? A hairy leprechaun.
Right. I guess it depends on how drunk the doorman is. If they're going to let in a hairy leprechaun.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Alex Joyce. Pint of Laughs, Tuesday nights at 8:30 here at Harrigan's, and then also the Lincoln Lounge. You said for Blackout Diaries.
Yes, every Friday at 10 o'clock.
Very good. All right, so TVHams.com is the official website of the Gentleman Grachowski Show. Everything about the TV show, the Gentleman Grachowski Show, you can find at TVHams.com is the official website. You'll find out there. And one thing you'll find out there by going to TVHams.com is Kate Cullen. How are you, Kate?
I'm excellent. Glad to be back on their show.
Welcome back. It's been a while.
Too long.
And yes, I'm going to say that's a true statement. It's been too long, but it's good to see you again. Tell us about what you've been up to lately, because I said you used to come around a bit early years.
Yeah.
In the early years.
Early years, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of it, I got to tell you, since the pandemic, I've gotten really lazy.
Lazy?
Yeah. I mean, okay, first of all, I work from home, right? I work at my day job and I work from home. Cannot beat the dress code, you guys. I mean, well, first of all, when I first started working from home, I wanted to be like work as much as possible. So, I dress up and put on my little lanyard and, go to work and, all 10 feet of my commute or whatever. And I missed the ambiance of my commute. So I took my cat's litter box and I put it in between my bedroom and my work area so that I could smell the aroma of the Red Line. And by the end of the week, I didn't dress up so much, but I made sure to wear my lanyard. I just wasn't wearing anything else. Like I said, love the dress code. You can't beat it. It reminded me of how when I was in the office, at certain places, they'd be like, well, if you make this goal, you can wear jeans all week. Yeah, try to make me, you cannot insult me with jeans anymore. I don't even wear underwear at work now.
All right, then. Well, you gotta know your surroundings, I guess.
Yeah.
Tell us about, speaking of no panties, tell us about you're being a cat woman.
I got a cat right before the pandemic. Her name is Cora Navirus. Her name was Misty at the shelter, but I was like, no, that sounds like a hooker's name. I can't have a cat with a hooker's name. That's just wrong. So I named her after a disease that killed several million people across the world. That's okay. Yeah, so I go into the shelter to get a cat. I would like to choose a cat, please. No. So, you don't choose the cat. The cat chooses you. Really? Okay, I'm a single, lonely woman who... Now you're going to tell me I have to impress a cat. What is this cat Tinder? I got little cats, like, pawing right and left. Like, oh, you seem like a nice lady, but I'm holding out for someone with a higher credit score and a litter robot. It's like they wanted to know, let me see my credit score, last 5 jobs I had. They wanted a pint of my blood, my ancestry, the whole thing. Back in the day, it was just like somebody had a box of kittens and said, want one? Yeah, and you guys thought you had a hard time getting some puss. Getting a cat nowadays, a hard time. Yeah.
I know, especially with the credit reports.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have any animals, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
The credit report's not doing too well.
Mine's doing a little better, but I have gotten a little bit of a DoorDash habit.
Uh-oh. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm lazy. I don't like to cook.
Okay.
I used to complain about, cafeteria food, and then I started eating my own cooking. It's like...
You don't like your own cooking?
It's not bad. Let's just put it this way. I'm lazy. You know, I don't like to do anything that I can get somebody else to do for me.
Right. Well, I mean, that's why you got it when you have your own, your own kitchen. You got to have like banquet dinners, TV dinners, right?
Yeah.
And you got to have ramen noodles. Right?
Yeah, you know that's all
rice-a-roni.
bougie. Yeah, you know that's all bougie now.
Really?
They have those ramen restaurants. I'm like, when did ramen come up like that? That used to be the crap you buy over at the store for like $1 for a huge crate of it. And now
it's like $10 now.
Now it's like fancy
Yeah,
food.
I know, and it's still got the same amount of sodium.
Yeah.
So it's going to cost you more to kill yourself with it.
Yeah. You know.
Now, why do you? I mean, just because you don't want to cook doesn't make you lazy.
Well, working from home has definitely made me lazy, and ever since I've gotten older, definitely. I think there's a certain amount of encounters that you have, and when you're done, you're done. So, let's just say that when the pizza man comes to my house nowadays, he's like, I got an extra slice for ya. I'm like, that better be deep dish. I want the sausage crumbled. I don't want to do cardio. Sex is cardio. That's just too much work. I just want the pizza.
You've been watching too many of those late night movies.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want to do any cardio. Just give me my pizza and go your merry way.
What if like Mr. Right showed up delivering a pizza? What would you do?
Mr. Right delivering a pizza. Well, here's the thing. If he's Mr. Right, really is Mr. Right.
Okay.
He better be delivering a top sirloin, medium rare with a baked potato, and some like cake with Jamocha frosting and cherries.
Okay.
I'm a little bit more high maintenance than pizza.
Okay.
A little bit more.
And when you were growing up, you never. What was your idea of Prince Charming when you were growing up?
I didn't have much self-esteem, so back then it was just anybody that looked at me like, oh, you're so cute. Oh, let's get married.
So right from the beginning, huh?
Yeah, I was one of those.
And then how has your dating thoughts changed since then?
I have cats. And I watched Dirty John.
What's that?
Well, it's like that this story about this lady. She got swindled, and if it wasn't for the fact that she had a daughter that knew zombie movies and saved her life, their whole family be dead. The guy ended up being really bad.
She saved the life by making the guy watch zombie movies?
No, the girl was like, watched zombie movies, and when the guy tried to attack her, she used a move she saw in the zombie movies to kill him.
So use it for self-defense.
To save herself, yes.
Okay, that's good. I heard something about you being a queen. Tell us about that.
Oh, I'm the queen of the hobbits.
What?
Yes. Well, I'm involved. I do charitable work for this organization called the Imperial Windy City Court, and and I was fundraising chair, aka Empress, a few years ago, and because of my oh so tall stature, I was dubbed Queen of the Hobbits.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could be called worse.
Yeah.
Like an Ewok.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be probably worse because it means you're kind of hairy.
Yeah. Of course, the person who dubbed me Queen of the Hobbits is a bald Wookiee, so,
Oh.
Gotta consider the source sometimes.
Okay. Now, another thing I found out, you've been studying about Chicago history, right?
Yeah, I have.
Tell us about what you learned about it.
Okay. I first of all, I need to, and not only because I've been studying Chicago, but because I am from Nebraska, where we're known for our beef.
You're a Cornhusker.
Yeah, we're known for that. We had been known for that too, but the football team's taken a little bit of a hiatus apparently.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we're known for beef, and so I hate to see Mrs. O'Leary's cow getting wrongfully blamed for destroying our city. Mrs. O'Leary's cow is getting a really bad rap, okay? I hate to see an innocent slab of beef anywhere but into my stomach. But anyway, being blamed for the Great Chicago Fire. I'll tell you what happened. I'm as an Irish woman of Irish descent with, kind of thick thighs. I was wearing pantyhose last night, and I realized, this is the deal. Mrs. O'Leary didn't have thigh gap, and she was just walking around Chicago doing her thing. And when you don't have thigh gap, your thighs rub together, it creates combustion, and boom! Chicago burnt down because Mrs. O'Leary was a little bit of a cow. But it's not the cow's fault. Blame it on deep dish. And I don't think that's right.
It's not right. Now, they didn't have synthetic clothing at that time, material, right?
Yeah, they didn't have anything to stop, that.
So that came in wool and, everything, right?
So, she, poor thing, she didn't have thigh gap. Of course, show me anyone in Chicago with thigh gap, with all the good food here and the cold weather. I mean, you can't, there's like 2 days that it's not either too cold or too hot to exercise. So, like I would do that anyway. But yeah, it's like her cow got blamed for it, but it was really
Poor
deep
cow.
dish's fault.
Yes, I gotcha. Now, speaking of flames and fire, tell us about the candle. You got it.
Oh, yes. My sister, a couple of years ago, I think my family, I secretly think they're wanting me to die. I don't know.
How
But
do
my
they want that?
Oh, so they can get my shares of the family inheritance or something. I don't know.
And what is that?
Oh, who knows?
Something from Nebraska, right?
Lots of beef. My sister Julie, gotta love her, got me this carbon monoxide scented Yankee candle. Yeah, it has a ring at the bottom of it. It's supposed to be worth millions of dollars or something. I take this thing home. She's got a note in there that says, if you just need to get away from it all after a bad day, go home, lock the bathroom door, make sure that it's just you and the air of the candle. Thanks, Jules. So I do this after Trump gets off on another impeachment trial. I was so angry. I did this. I go in there, fill my bath, do the deal, get ready to light the candle, but I look at myself naked in the mirror and I say, no. I cannot be found dead, naked in a bathtub like this. Not until I lose at least 50 pounds. Because, let's face it, paramedics are high, okay? So, when those hot paramedics find my body in the bathtub, I want them to at least consider necrophilia. No, don't. Okay. So that's why I'm taking suicide diet classes. I'm in the gym now, and I'm going to kickboxing and everything. And I'm next to Becky, who's trying to lose the baby weight, and Karen, who's trying to get all fit for her wedding. And they asked me so why are you here? I'm like, well, I want to look good when they find me dead naked in the bathtub.
Okay, well, that's the way to go. That gives you something to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to lose weight first.
It's
And if you never lose the amount of weight you needed, you'll still be alive.
Exactly.
Which is a good thing.
Exactly. So it's like I'll be in, aerobics class next to, kickboxing. I took that for a little while. Next to someone who's trying to, lose the baby weight, and then you got Becky who's saving for her wedding, trying to lose weight, look good in her wedding gown. And me, I just want to look good when they find me dead in a bathtub.
All right, you got to have those high expectations.
You know it.
All right, Kate Cullen, thanks for stopping by the show. TVHams.com is the official website of Gentleman Grachowski Show. TVHams.com.